Yes.
Yes, child. We all natural over here. Okay.
My eyebrows straight.
All right. Welcome to the Brown Spade Podcast Show.
She put her lipstick on.
Yes.
Welcome to the Brown Spade Podcast Show. Once again, we're here today. We have a nice panel of beautiful women today. Of course, I have my co-host with me, Brother Cleveland. And remember, to all the fans out there, thank you for your support. We appreciate you. We're continuing to try to grow this platform. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're also on Breaker. We're on Google Podcasts. We're on Overcast. We're on Pocket Cast. We're on Radio Public. We're on Spotify. We're on Copy RSS. And now we are live on YouTube.
Yay.
So today, the subject is it harder? Is it harder for the Black woman in today's society? So today we have our beautiful, lovely guest today, and we just want to hear their views on their truth and experience on in this society. So, who want to go first? And let's begin. So, why do you feel like the Black woman has it harder in this society, and why?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
You need a buzzer already because you didn't introduce anybody.
Okay. Not one person. Good evening, everyone. I guess
And then you try to freeze.
I know, right?
I'm Shakita.
Bye.
Nice to meet everyone. Mr. Brown
Hello.
Spade, Mr. Cleveland, ladies, Erica, Keisha, February here. Thank you for having me on today. So, that's a very loaded question for me because I've worked in two very diverse, different types of careers over the years. I've worked in law enforcement as well as currently education. So when I say from my experience as a Black woman starting out young in the criminal justice field, I did see racism not just from and seeing how I had to, because I was educated. I had just received my bachelor's degree, and that was uncommon coming into the area that I worked in at the time. You didn't have many young Black women with a degree. They were mostly non-degree, worked as a secretary. So of course I started at the bottom, and it wasn't always pleasant because I later found that the ones that I helped were the same ones that was trying to bring me down. And it wasn't just from whites, it was from us, our own sisters.
Yeah.
And then later on working in the police department, the same thing, my immediate supervisor. Work hard because people would come to me for support because of my knowledge and the fact that I just love helping people. If I knew something, I'm going to help you. Or if I know somebody that can help you, I'm going to lead you to that person. And she took that as me trying to take over her job. And I was like, I'm just trying to be of help to everybody. And we all work together. That was the second time. And to me, it was one of the most devastating moments as a young Black woman and a single mom to have an older woman, a Black woman, who you looked up to as your mentor, as your boss, your supervisor, to want to bring you down. And was happy about doing so.
Yeah.
So I found that even though I was educated, I still was looked at as a Black woman who was trying to get above all the others, and that wasn't the case. Even in education, I found myself, Black women who have power, they don't like you to question them. So I have supervisors that now who have power, and she can't stand if you question her, although she asks you, do you have any questions?
Yeah.
And if you got one, she's
So
gonna
you
give it
go.
to you.
I can't hear you, Cleve, but
I said, if you got a question, she's gonna give it you the question she wants you to ask.
I still can't hear you. I see your mouth moving, but I don't hear your volume.
Can anybody else help me?
Can
I
you
don't
hear
hear
me?
February either.
Okay.
I mean,
Can
I
you
guess
hear me,
you
Miss
guys
Shaquita?
I can hear you, Erica. I can hear you.
Okay.
Well, you know, I talk loud
But
anyway.
I
So
found that even it doesn't matter if you're educated or not. If they don't like you, for you just being a person who asks questions or just being you, there's gonna be something about you
Mm-hmm.
that they see that they don't like, and so therefore you're on that hit list, as I call it.
So Erica, relate
And so
this.
I found that in my two diverse careers that trying to
So
rise above it is difficult.
the two supervisors that she
I really
spoke
wish
on.
I could hear what Cleve is saying. Somebody tell me what
Relate
he
that,
said.
Erica. Erica, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Cleve. What did you say?
So the two supervisors that she had problems with, they were women?
He said, Miss Shaquita, he said, so the two women that you had, your two supervisors that you had problems with, they were women?
Yes, they were black women.
They were black women. Okay. That's usually how it is.
Right.
Yeah. Now one of the other ones was a white woman. But the ones that gave me the most trouble were black women.
Hmm.
Well, I had an equal opportunist. I had a black woman and a white woman. The black woman, I was senior year of college, and not gonna say where, but it was here in the city or whatever. And I don't know what it was about this lady. Like, she had something to say about me every day, and it was never about my work. She never complained about my work because the work got done. I did really 3 people's jobs, and it was just, my name was just always in her mouth. Like, she even went so far as to find out what kind of car I drove. And so she was like, oh, she coming here, her hair is always done, her nails always done, she wear nice clothes. Well, they don't pay her enough to do all that. I know what her pay grade is. She must be doing something or whatever. And, yada, yada, yada. And I'm just like, what is the deal with this lady? And like, she wasn't my direct boss, but she was like my boss's boss. And I would ask my supervisor, well, I'm like, what's the deal with her? And she'd be like, she just like that. When every time we get like some new people or whatever, she pick out a couple and she just try to figure them out and see, if they gonna come, if they gonna stay. And I said, well, I don't plan on staying. I can tell you that right now. This was just till I finished school. So I'm like, I wasn't trying to make this no career. She coming after me like I done took her man or something. Like, because for you to come out, you tell me what kind. Because that kind of freaked me out. Like, how do you know what kind of car? I know what kind of car you drive. You drive that little car. It was parked under. And I'm just like, okay, you're crazy. But I ended up having to have emergency surgery and ended up having to leave. Like, I had the surgery and she was making a big deal. My supervisor wasn't making a big deal about me coming back to work, but she was making a big deal knowing that I really could not come back to work. So she was trying to kind of get rid of me, but on the slick tip. But my supervisor was like, nah, she too good. I need her. So she was like, if you gonna make her come to work, then okay, she gonna come to work and she gonna sit right there. She ain't gonna do nothing. We gonna pay her to do absolutely nothing. But if she can't do it with her fingers and her mind or whatever, it just won't get done. And then so I came to work. The doctor wrote me an excuse, but the doctor said I couldn't do nothing but sit there. Then to piss her off, I couldn't dress. She was mad I couldn't dress up. So I had to wear sneakers and jogging. And she was mad about that. Like, everything I did, she was mad. It wasn't about the work though. Work got done. So I finally just quit because I was about to graduate college at that point. And when I left, they got so behind on all the work that my supervisor didn't call me. She called me. And she apologized. And she was like, I did not realize everything that you did and how, how much work you did and how you just made it flow. And you made it look so simple. And I didn't realize you were doing like 3 people's jobs. So she was like, I apologize and yada, yada, yada. She's like, is there any way that I could get you to come back? She's like, I see about getting you more money and yada, yada, yada. And I was like, well, I appreciate that. I really, doing everything and stuff. And I was like, no,
Like you.
no, ma'am.
So
Because I said, if you would have spent less time worrying about me getting my hair done and the kind of clothes I wore and the car I drive, and and then because a couple of the men that were trying to hit on me, and I wasn't studying them, I was trying to finish college and do what I got to do. But you too worried about what's going on there, and you weren't paying attention to what I was really doing. So I was like,
And this was your experience with the white lady?
oh no, this was the black lady. Now the white lady, she was just as bad, and she was more recent. She was about 3 years ago, and she was just straight intimidated by me. Mm-hmm. She thought I was just somebody, I guess, off the street, didn't have any type of education. I don't know why, but just whatever. And she pulled me into her office one day, and she said something off the wall, something kind of crazy. And she always bragged on like the training programs that they had there. And I explained to her, I said, well, she said, well, how would you do this? And you always say that this is wrong and it's not right. And I said, oh, well, I would do A, B, C, X, Y, Z, and yada, yada, yada to be more effective. I said, the reason I know this is because I've done your job before. So that's how I know you're doing it wrong. And I said, I'm gonna tell you this, and I said, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I don't want your job. That's why I took a step back to I don't want the headache. I've done your job. I could tell you what you're doing wrong. I could assist you with it now, but no. And after that day, she was just any little thing. Then she got mad because she found out I had a degree. That's because I said she thought I was stupid. And see, she found this out by the other people. And then she found out that I had just left teaching when I got this job. So then she was like, oh, dog, she really educated. She was a teacher or whatever and stuff. So it's like any little thing. And then she tried to set me up and not blackmail me, but she tried to lie on me basically and say that I didn't do this, I didn't do that, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm incompetent. The program that she's been doing for 10 years, that I ruined it and yada, yada, yada. And I said, now let's calculate this. Now we ended up having a big, huge meeting with the head people of the entire county. At the time I'm working for the county. And so I said, you sit here saying I'm incompetent and everything, but everything she ever gave me, I kept from day one, because she would test us on stuff and quiz us on stuff. And I had stuff from customers, from praise. I had a thing this thick. And so even her boss was like, well, if she's so incompetent, why everything you gave her a 98 or better?
Right.
So, and then it was just something all the time. And I ended up leaving anyway, because I had already got the job basically that I got now. Mm-hmm. And then they were like, well, you could still work here. We'll just put you in another department. And I said, I asked y'all to do that a long time ago. We wouldn't have even gotten to this point. But no, y'all listening to her because this her program, but she want to make it seem like it's my fault. I've been here 6 months. You've been here 10 years, and this place got a 1-star rating, but it's my fault.
And this is the sister that gave you the problem, or the white
No,
one?
just the white lady.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And she was so mad and she was so red. I said, I bet she go home every day and talk about me. Her husband, kids, the dog, everybody know about me. But that pissed her off so bad when I brought out that stack of papers and everything. Because like I tell anybody, you keep a CYM folder for yourself all the time on these jobs. And they quick to sit here and say, you did this, you did that. Nah, but this what you did.
Right.
And I threw all that junk back in her face and she couldn't say nothing.
Yeah, so I was reading some articles. They were saying that the black woman is the most educated group in the United States, and I thought that was very interesting.
That's very true.
All women, is that what he was saying? Out of all women, or is in general? Group.
How they put it? Group. Yeah.
From my experience, it is Black women trying to tear each other down. It's a competition. Mm-hmm. And I haven't had many experiences like this. And when it comes to, other races, a lot of stuff I am completely oblivious to. I have to admit that, unless it's something that's blatantly in my face. And I've had a couple of run-ins with white men, and usually vehicles are involved. Like I was crossing the street one day, and I don't even remember all the details, but I know this white guy hollered out the window the N word, and he stopped and hollered out the N word and drove on by. But in my work,
not recently.
This was a couple of years ago. It was a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So it has to be like right in my face for me to be like, oh, that just happened. And I had a work situation where I worked with this. It was a black female, and it got to the point where it almost got physical. She was put in a temporary position of being over the office, and it was very temporary, but she really she rode her power. She rode it to the ground. And we clashed one day, and I wasn't going to fight because I mean, that never happened. That never happened to me in the workplace.
I had to fight all my life.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
I wasn't going down like that. But what I did, one thing my mom taught me is to take notes. You take notes, especially when you're dealing with other races. You document. And when that situation happened, I said, if she come back and say anything, I had my written account of what actually happened.
Right.
And I held on to that until I left the job, just in case.
Okay, right.
All right, so listen, question, because I'm pretty sure we all been through situations with work. So as far as I'm gonna do it a different way. As far as black women being treated, do black women think that that they treated fairly, as far as compared to men, as far as compared to
do y'all think black men trying to hold y'all back?
Sometimes
Trying to hold us back.
Hold you down or back, whatever
do y'all think that y'all treated unfair compared to black men when it comes to society?
Right.
I ain't hear none of
I
that.
think we in the same bucket.
that's what I was thinking, Erica. I think it's
We
probably
in the same
worse
bucket.
for them.
It's just
Okay.
the black man is like, they not worth nothing. They lazy. They don't want to work. They want to make babies and leave them, and they just whatever. And in the black woman, we're just angry. We're just angry, and we're just mad all the time. And it's just like it's crazy, because I tell my daughter, in the workplace or in the work environment, it's like you really have to be two different people. When you're at work, you have to carry yourself a certain type of way. You have to speak a certain kind of way, and
We all have to conform to a certain degree.
yeah, and like with women of other races, certain races, your tone can't go too high because they get
Scared.
or they feel like
Are you being aggressive?
Right.
You're being aggressive.
you're being aggressive, or because they're intimidated by you already. So yeah, I had to deal with that recently too, because I'm just like, this lady, she just refused to talk to me. One of my supervisors refused to talk.
The reason why I asked, because I was having a conversation, and I was told that black women have it harder than black men, and I asked how, like why, where did you come up with that, that
What
perspective?
you mean? How? What do you mean?
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
Cleve,
Please?
I want to go back and answer.
I'm not saying it's not true. I'm not saying that women don't have it hard, but how is it harder than black men? I just want to know.
Okay, can y'all hear me?
Yes,
I can
we
hear
hear
you.
you very clearly.
Cleve, I want to go back to what the first question that you asked is, do you think Black men, or something to this nature, do you think Black men make it harder for Black women? I don't think necessarily that is.
No. That wasn't a question. No. That's not what I was asking.
Okay.
I was asking, do you think Black women have it harder than Black men in society?
I think that it could be harder for the Black man in society.
Okay.
I agree with February.
Well, I mean, I'm just looking at how you have to go out there and battle and prove yourself to the world,
to everybody,
every day,
to everybody.
Right. Yeah,
and
everybody.
Nobody, everybody doesn't appreciate that. So, with Black women, I think it's different. I think it's a different way, because it's like we can be looked at as sexual tools. So I think the battle is different. The men have to go out there and compete, and women have to go out there and prove that, that's not the kind of woman I am. That's not how I climb up the ladder. So I think that it's a different battle.
It is. It is.
Ms. Hudson, we haven't heard from you. I want to hear Ms. Hudson. Cut your mic on, sweetie. Cut your mic on.
We can't hear you, Quita, but we haven't heard from Keisha either.
Okay, we want to hear from both of them.
Okay.
And I'm sorry I blacked out, y'all. I'm in the island. Sometimes this thing cut off. I'd be mad as hell. But anyway, I'm back.
I think for me, I haven't had a whole lot of run-ins. I know that it being in the field that I'm in and where I'm located currently, I'm the only Black female in my job. So it's always, I feel like I'm always trying to prove myself, working harder, staying to work longer, making sure all of my I's are dotted, T's are crossed, and always on point. Like always, no matter what. Right. And that's like ongoing. Like I have to be ready. I have to be prepared. I have to be able to, like, whatever's going on, I have to be the person that jumps up and be like, hey, this is what we're going to do. Like, I have to be in charge. And I think taking time off is like, okay, can't do that. Like, you don't want somebody to see you as, oh, she got some stuff going on. The Black lady got something going on. It's like, whatever's going on is my business. Nobody will know, because they won't be able to hold that over my head. Oh, you get your job done because you got this going on at home, or you got this situation going on. So it's always, hey, I'm fine. I'm okay. Let's get this done. I'm always going to be prepared. And so I think that's a lot of pressure, especially working in the field when you're the only Black person here. You got to be on top of your game, like always.
What is your profession, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm a clinical director at a substance abuse facility.
Okay, cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so we definitely we'll talk after the show.
Yeah, we definitely need to talk to her.
Yeah, so it's just always, you got to be on point. You got to be ready. You got to be prepared. So,
and in Cleveland, I just want to clear something up. When I say group, I don't mean race. I mean, they're the highest educated group. As far as race, Asian is the number one.
Yeah, I understand what you were saying. I understand.
Yeah, I just want to clear it up, because we also have listeners, and sometimes people have selective hearing. I don't want to be like giving out, people hear the wrong thing. So, oh, he don't know what the hell he's talking about. Yeah. So, Ms. Hudson, we want to hear your voice. Go ahead, talk to us.
She actually went first, Daniel. But
you go first. Oh, I missed it.
You froze up.
Oh man, I was so mad. Y'all don't understand.
So listen.
Yeah.
The question, Ms. Hudson, is what February spoke on. How do you feel about whether Black women are treated unfair or treated they catch it harder than Black men in society? We can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I don't know why she
see, before she couldn't hear you.
She couldn't hear him before, yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Go out and come back in, and go out and come back in.
Yeah.
Erica,
please. The
question is exact same question. Because when I first said it, your face frowned like, no. Like, I know he didn't just say that. Well, come on.
But I agree with Miss February said. I think Yeah, of course, definitely men have it harder, but we have our own battles too.
Yeah, we're not denying that you don't have battles, but I think because of course, me and Cleve, we talk every day. But the thing is, I think is what we're saying is because now we're living in this so-called battle of the sexes, and I think a lot of times, not necessarily you guys in particular, but we're saying that some sisters who apply themselves and get the education, they feel like they're in this thing, they did it all by themselves, or don't nobody go through what they go through. And me and Cleve, like I said, we talk a lot, and we both agreed that we feel like that we go through the most. Not saying that you guys don't have a struggle, that we both have struggles. And we respect y'all's struggle as well. We know exactly what you guys go through, but I think sometimes our struggles can get overlooked.
Yeah, but y'all struggle is our struggle sometimes too. It's like it's added on to ours.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't, you guys, he just said sometimes y'all struggle is overlooked by who? Because I don't think that's the case. Oh,
by society. Just like for instance, like I said, I was having a conversation, and the person I was talking to, they said that no, they said when it comes to the job market, y'all go through, just like what y'all was saying, everything y'all was saying, y'all go through in the job market. And I said to them, I said, well, name to me what decade, century, what year that the black man, controlled the economy and we had all the great jobs in the positions. I said, because I think you think that, exactly. I said, so when you say that you competing for the jobs with men, you're not talking about black men, because we're not even in that discussion. We're not even at the table. At least black women are at the table saying, look, we want equal opportunity. We want equal this, because y'all have y'all white counterparts who's running with y'all. But when it comes to black men, it's just us. And we're not even at the table. So y'all have y'all white female counterparts who back in the 60s told y'all, look, I understand y'all fighting for civil rights, but we need separation from men. We need women rights. Because the civil rights was not set up it was set up for the black family. But once the women wanted, separation, then everybody wanted. Short, crippled, midgets, everybody wanted part of the civil rights. And it took away from the black family, and that's what it intended to be.
I can understand your friend who said that there's a competition for the jobs. I can understand that, because in the job market, men get paid more than women, and that is a fight. It is a fight for us
for the exact same job.
We had an education to back it up. We have the experience to back it up, and we get paid less for the same thing that any man would get.
And I understand.
And
but
show that too, with February statistics show that you guys have to work 7 months more before you get paid to the average white guy.
Yeah, it's not us who y'all. It's not us, because
we're not employing you guys, because black men as a whole, and as far as this nation concerned, not saying they're not people of power of color, but I'm saying for the most part, we don't control economics. We're not doing the hiring and firing. Is that fair to say? So
yes.
So a lot of sisters who feel this way have to understand that we're not holding you guys back. We're in this thing together.
Yeah, and we as a family, like, I mean, that's just how it was set up too, for the family to to be able to make it in this economy. But now it's so much separation, because, like you said, women feel like, hey, we're not getting paid for the same job as much as men, and neither are we. We're not either. They're not putting us in those manager positions. We supervisors. Supervisors don't get paid what managers get.
Yeah, the black woman, she make 38% less than her white counterparts.
Yeah.
Every year.
And we're in this soup together. you know. But it just, I was trying to explain, like, no, I'm not saying that y'all don't, you know, y'all don't have it hard, but I don't think it's y'all have it harder, because even if we get away from the job, even if we go to, you know, just for instance, a woman could have 3 kids and can't afford to take care of her kids, and she may have to, you know, they may have to go through, you know, through the system or whatever. They'll say, okay, listen, we'll give you food stamps, welfare, whatever you need in order to help you and those kids. But a man could come to the same system and say, look, I don't have money. I'm trying to find a job. I can't find a job. I can't pay child support. They're going to lock that man up, or either they're going to take his license and he won't be able to find a job. They're not going to say, well, look, let us put you in a system or put you with a program to help
find you a job, right?
For your
so
family.
You can provide for your
lock
family,
that man up.
Correct.
They're going to lock him up. Yeah. So it's different. It's different, especially when it comes to family. Oh yeah, they protect women. It just does. They don't protect the man. We just
I think the man got to work harder too, though. Like it can't be like he gotta grind too. Like I hear what you're saying, but at some point, the man has to be responsible for himself.
I totally understand that, oh, man. But you got to think about, and I don't know anyone's age, but I'm 45. So during my time, me and Daniel, we was lucky. We were 2 men who did not get an F on our report card, because you could get that F at the age of 18 or 19. It's gonna haunt you all the way up until you leave this planet. It just is. You know, it's gonna hurt you. And back then, to get an F, you know, to get a felon, it was known in the Black community. It just was known. I mean, anything, you know, you do, you get caught up, and now you got a record. So that was one thing that, you know, that was, you know, burden on a lot of guys that I know. I'm speaking from experience. A lot of guys I know who wanted to get out here and work and get a job and help and provide for you know, for their kids and everything, but you know, that they couldn't get, you know, the job that they want. They can only get a job making $40,000, $50,000, because most people make, most Black men make 40-something thousand a year. That's most Black men. How is that? How can you take care of a family of 2 or 3? I mean, you just can't. It's hard.
You gotta live in your means.
You
gotta live in your means.
If you live in the city of Atlanta, what means is that for? $40,000? Can you make it in the city of Atlanta? With $40,000 3 kids? Tell me what. Tell me what. You said you did. You said you did. As a woman, as a man, no. Okay.
See, I always found very confused, because how can a man not live on $40,000, but a woman can't?
And we got the kids.
And you're saying it's difficult.
Because and I'm not speaking from. Listen, I'm speaking from. Women get assistance. They get assistance.
Not all women. I know you saying it's an option. It's there, but everybody does.
Or they get child support. Yeah.
Oh.
What's that?
Okay, so
You speaking French? What?
Women get assistance.
Women do get assistance.
That's not always the case. That's not always
the case.
Cleve. The same thing would happen to a woman if she didn't pay her child support. They're gonna lock her up too. So I was hoping when you gave that example that you were gonna say it's a guy with 3 kids and he's taking care of his kids, because he can get that assistance too. It's not as often a story that you hear, but they're gonna assist if it's kids involved.
Yeah.
That assistance is for the kids.
Yeah.
If a woman not paying her child support, her behind is going to jail as well. So
what percentage
And
of
I
that?
can speak.
give me another
I can speak-
example.
What percentage of that?
That's a very low percentage, though. You don't hear nothing about sisters
What
not going to
percentage
jail
of
for
that?
child support.
What percentage would you say,
I
February?
know a couple folk that's
100%.
happened to.
What percentage of that you just
Most,
said?
most of the time, sister got the children for the most part, though.
Yes.
Right?
What
We all
percentage
agree
of that?
in most cases.
So what
Yeah,
percentage
why
would
is
you say,
that?
February? What percentage of those cases?
I'm not looking at this in terms of percentage. I'm looking at this in terms of the situation. What is the situation?
If we're talking about society, I mean, we're looking at groups of people. We're not talking about, in your surrounding. I'm talking about groups of people. That percentage is very small, very small.
But the percentage of, like Daniel said, of the person with the kids is higher, that it's going to be the woman.
Yeah.
But still, if the tables are turned and the man is the one with the kids and the mother is not paying child support, she going to jail, Cleve.
I'm not saying those cases is not, but that's a small percentage, is what I'm saying. That's a very small percentage. I have a friend of mine. He did the same thing. As far as he has custody of his daughter.
Right.
But the thing is, most men don't go after the women for child support. They just want their kids.
Mm-hmm.
They just want their kids. So that's a small percentage of women. Hey, we got somebody else.
Hey, John.
Hello. Hey, everybody.
That's a small percentage of women. I mean, of men that actually go through that. That's a small percentage.
So,
Hello,
so Jokita, we were just, hi girl. We were just on the subject of, Cleve brought up the point that, we're talking about, do women have it harder than men in society? Do Black women have it harder than Black men in society? And Cleve just gave the example of how hard it is for a guy, how hard society is on a guy, because if he's not paying his child support, they're going to lock him up in jail. If something happens and he gets a record at, say, 18, 19, that's going to follow him for a long time. And, I was making the point that it doesn't matter who it is, if it's a male or a female, if you don't pay your child support, you're going to jail. Also, if a woman gets something on her record, that's going to follow her for a long time as well. So, I was just making that point, and Cleve was asking, what's the greater percentage? So that's where we are right now.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
And you can chime in, because I believe everyone has spoken. Erica, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to rotate people. We can only have, I guess, 6 on the screen at a time. So, Miss Shakita, I forgot about you, Miss Hudson. We're going to rotate you.
Well, I was only privy to get part of the conversation, but I do believe, like, just as people of color, period, that I don't think we are exempt from anything that we do, be it a man or a woman. As long as we are enclosed in this brown body, we're going to reap the repercussions of doing anything, not paying our child support. But as far as it being who gets it worse, I don't know, because as a woman, I don't know if it's any slack on our part, because we have to be responsible for a lot of things. So I don't know if I would say who has it worse. I think that we do have it equally bad.
Yeah.
And it pertains to that particular situation and those individuals, be it jobs, what's your social economic bracket that you stay, what you're in. I heard something about if we're in the $40,000, if we're medium, low income, high, medium. I think it revolves around a lot of different factors here, but just being Black in America, we ain't getting no shortcuts, and it's not going to be easy for either one of us.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Black family as a whole, we catch it hard. The whole, including our kids who go to school, and they have to, work harder, to be able to get into these schools, and people look at them other than just a football player or a cheerleader, and take, the academic seriously or whatever. So I think the whole Black family has it hard. But like I was telling the panel that I was having a conversation, and it was brought to my attention that black women have it harder than black men. And I'm like, okay, I said, I agree that y'all, black women have it hard. I said, but explain to me, how is that? How does that come to play? I didn't understand that. And
I agree with him. And I said, I'm not comparing oranges and apples, not denying black women's struggle, but I do think the black man has it harder.
Is it based on individual experience, your response, or is it based on like statistics or people you know? Because I think like given our social location, sometimes we see different things. But so like, where does it come from?
Society.
Like for you, it's just you like society as a whole. That's what your perspective is.
Yeah, you can look at society.
Yeah.
They
have statistics to show just as far. I mean, you. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh no, I was just curious. The reason why I asked, I was curious because I don't know. I think it varies and depends. Like overall, it's kind of hard to like just say black women have it harder or black men. So I kind of hit this fine medium in between because I don't want to negate the black man struggle because I know there is a struggle. Just like I don't necessarily want black men to negate our struggle because the struggle is different. But I mean, who's gonna say bad is bad? Like I don't know. We're gonna compare, like put this hierarchy of suffering. If suffering is suffering, you know what I'm saying?
That's not what we're saying. I guess the reason why like I said earlier, I'm not comparing oranges and apples. I'm just saying that again, I do acknowledge the struggle, but I think sometimes I know in the past I have heard some sisters say that they have it harder. And I just disagree. I'm not saying that they don't have it hard. I'm just saying, but don't say you have it harder. Again, I'm not trying to compare oranges and apples because in my mind, we're both in the same boat.
And for me,
I just look at it.
For me, I just say the black family. I mean, the black family, we have it hard. Like from our kids up to the man. I truly believe that we have it hard. Yeah, we do. But like I was saying, and the thing is, it's always shown, how hard black women have it, from movies to songs to, to videos. I mean, it's always talked about. But for the black man, we have to suck it up because even if you get to the point of saying fear, I have heard conversations where people say, well, black women is not, society is not fair to black women or just women in general. And I'm like, well, I can understand that, but as a man, we can't go by that system. We can't go and say fair, because we have to suck it up. And we take it and we understand it's not fair. We just make adjustments. Because we know it's not fair. Matter of fact, America was not built for it to be fair for us. It never had. So I understand that. And then we typically understand that it's not fair. We understand that it's not fair.
But just like you have some women who complain about it not being fair, you have some men complaining about it not being fair. So it's not really fair to say that men just say, "Oh, I gotta suck it up," because it's guys out there. You just don't even want to be around them because they complain about, how the white man coming down on them, society coming down on them.
Right.
And I think it's also this notion of not allowing black women to feel is this stereotype that is given to society of being this strong black woman who has to carry on all the burdens of the world. So again, going to the argument of who has it worse, I think black men have this perpetual stereotype that goes on with them, just as well as a black woman has this stereotype that goes on with them of trying to suppress everything that goes on and just carry the weight of the world on her shoulders, like kids sick, mama taking care of parents, and all of the things that come on with in life, and just suppressing it and just saying, "Oh, you be strong though, be strong." So I don't know. I'm kind of like on this equal playing field, like same
case by case, like case by case.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like all of us, we all black, y'all. So,
right.
So we understand where the
Right.
other person is coming
Right.
from. It sounds like
Right.
all of us are
Yeah.
right there in the middle.
But we do
Yeah.
have, I mean, okay, so as far as this panel concerned, okay, most of us kind of disagree. I mean, we kind of agree here. But again, it's like I have seen, they may not call themselves feminists, but they
They're
fall
feminine.
into that. They
They're
fall into
feminine.
that mode of feminists. Not you guys. I'm just saying we've had other, I've experienced other people. They fall into those. To me, they traps, because to me, the black woman, her ally is the black man. That's my opinion.
I feel like we're each other allies.
Yeah, no doubt. We're each other ally, but we have to realize and stop falling for this individual
Yeah, like we act
individualism. You know what I'm saying?
You're not.
Like, oh, this woman power and you know, I mean, we're supposed to uplift each other. I'm all for that. You know what I'm saying? But I think sometimes we lose focus and just be, and that's, to me, that's why we're having this battle of the sexes thing for this last few years. It's been the battle of the sexes. That's how I feel what's going on in our society today, particularly in the black community.
I don't know
And,
if it's-
and go ahead, go ahead.
I was about to say, I don't. Speaking as a woman, I think sometimes when you speak from like a feminist perspective, then there's womanist perspective. That point of departure is racism, classism, and sexism, considering like more so the black woman. But I think when you view it through that lens, you understand, because everybody got blind spots, right? Like just like I don't know what it's like to walk in the shoes of a black man. My blind spot. Men don't know what it's like to walk in the shoes of a black woman. So just looking at it in the context of just like Black Lives Matter, we can say that because we're black. So it's just like Women Lives Matter. So the particular issues that affect us as women, because at the same time, you can talk about instances and places and spaces that negate and don't give women a fair chance. I don't want to go into and sidebar it into another conversation, but I think that's when the role of feminists and women and like just kind of like pro women, because there are still places that don't see us as equal. So I think it's just kind of like
Equal to men.
But I feel like
on the same playing field, same rights,
I feel
same
like sisters get lost.
opportunities.
I feel like sisters get lost when it comes to that, because they fall into those groups, and it makes her lose focus on the black family, on us as a whole, as a unit versus individuality.
Yeah, because you don't hear other race of women.
White girl rock,
Yeah,
Chinese,
or
Asian girl rock. You're not gonna hear all this stuff. It's
Oh,
only in the black community. It only exists in black girl rock, black girl power, black girl magic. I mean, this only exists in our community.
it does.
So again, we kind of over exaggerate and lose, and that's how we lose focus on stuff. Because again, you guys are the first teachers. So when you guys give birth to kids, you're the first teacher. So if you lose focus, then the kids lose focus. And the nation is, you can look at a nation of people by looking at the mothers of their. Look, if you see the child, you can see the mother, and that pretty much tell you what type of child that is by looking at the mother, because the mother is the first teacher.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I have some pushback on that, but
Go ahead. It's okay. That's what we want.
No, my pushback is again, I think it comes from a lens that we look at. My social location is walking in in the shoes of a black woman. I know there are some spaces and places that don't always deem me to be an equal or give me equal rights or opportunities. Sometimes taking on certain connotations or certain beliefs, maybe I need to sit quiet and keep some comments to myself. Maybe I need to perform this particular role. So, I mean, I don't necessarily negate what you're saying as far as, in the context of like different social economic groups like Asian Girls Rock. But when we look at how we have been demonized and sexualized as Black women, how it's a certain European style of beauty. It comes a time where we have to step in and clothe ourselves and see who we are as individuals. So I think it just emphasizes different things about us that empower us as people. We say Black power, so I mean, like opposed to Black girls rock, Black girls magic, Black proud, say it loud, I'm Black and I'm proud. I think it comes from a place where a society has continued to deem us as less than second-class citizens, 3/5 of a human, and we're starting to step in a position to take our rightful place and say, you know what, we are equal, and it's empowering to us as individuals who are looked at as less than. So I mean, I don't see anything wrong with Black girls rock, because it comes from a perpetual stereotype that we weren't counted. I mean, like our bodies was looked at as properties. We were taking advantage of this Me Too movement to come and step, like actually being able to speak, have a voice, and step in our power as individuals. So
I understand that, and I respect that. But everything you just said, the Black man has went through the exact same thing, and actually, the Black family has went through the exact same thing. So what my stance is, it's the Black family that rocks. It's the Black family that needs to be empowered.
Yeah, you keep trying to separate yourself. You're separating yourself from that unit. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. You're saying separate, like, coming together. I mean, yeah, both of us rock. I mean, I don't look at it as a separation.
Well, but it is a separation.
It is a separation. It is.
I thought, whether you think is whether it's directly or indirectly, it is.
Okay.
Because without no you, there is no me.
I hear you. It's a different angle to look at it through. I hear you. I thought you were saying something like it was problematic for or like, I don't know how you phrase it, like basically like on this own island. I don't know. I forgot the words that you used when you talked about us. I was just trying to figure out where you saying you had a problem with that particularly, but so now I hear you saying you just wanted to be one as a union, like
because that's all the things that one thing about back in the 60s that we didn't have the jobs, we didn't have the education, we had the education, but we always got the used and abused books and information or whatever. We got secondhand everything, but we was a family. It wasn't the dad, he go out there and he's doing everything for himself. No, he was doing it for the family. And the mother was there when he came home, and they basically came together to make sure that family was taken care of. But it has changed now. Now, and this was in the 60s. Now it's to the point where we're not a unit. And of course, we're not going to be able to even fight, go out here and fight all these battles of, unjust and all the things that we seeing is happening to the Black women or happen to the Black man, because we're not a unit. We used to battle it together. Now it's separation. And that's all I was saying. We, as a family, we can do so many things. We could get a lot done, and we used to. I mean, you could go back and look at Black Wall Street. Just look at how that community and everything was strong. It was one of the most strongest communities in the United States. And they seen that. They seen that. And it scared them. They scared the hell out of them. And now we're not together, and they love this. That's why they would put our women on these jobs and give them
and all these educational programs,
all these programs and stuff like that, because they're gonna tell you, hey, I help you and give you food stamps and roof and shelter, you and your kids.
That man can't live there.
You can't have a man in the house.
And that's by design. That's by design.
How the kids got there.
Right. Did you see Keisha's question? Because I was going to ask the same thing.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You see Keisha's question?
I'm sorry.
Do you see Keisha's question?
What did she say?
It says, why do you think families are not a unit currently?
Hold on, let me put Keisha in. I'm gonna take let me see here. Hold on, Miss Fairweather. Just hold tight. I'm gonna rotate it.
Okay.
All right. Okay, go ahead, Keisha. We got you.
I just posed the question because you were talking about how families were a unit, in the 60s. So my question to you is, why you think families are not a unit like currently now today?
Well, here's the thing. In my opinion, what happened was, okay, we're just coming out of the Jim Crow era, right? So when we came out of the Jim Crow era, you know, a lot of us came from the South. Most Black people came from the South. Some moved up north. But anyway, you had these things called the projects. So in the projects, they gave you this government assistance. They gave it to the Black woman. And again, that's why they called it the projects, because it was an experiment. So what they told her was, okay, we're going to give you a place to stay, food, shelter. But, and there is a but, you cannot have the Black male in the home. So in my mind, this was the beginning of Papa was a Rolling Stone, 8 miles per hour, because now he has to rotate and go from house to house, because I remember being a little boy from the project, and they used to come check the house, inspect the apartment, stuff like that. So I think this is what pushed some of them out. I'm not saying all of them, because you know some people did have bad dads, some people had good dads, but for the most part, opportunity wasn't there. So for a person to say coming out of the I mean, I'm born in the 70s, so we're talking about early 70s. So you still talking about we wasn't even nowhere close as far as economically inclined. We're just experiencing true, you know, somewhat freedom. You know what I'm saying? Because we're just coming out of the 60 era. So I think that hurt us a lot, and I think they took the man out of their home, and that was by design. And that and when you do that makes the woman, she's by herself, she's vulnerable. Yeah, she's strong, but she's vulnerable because she don't have the man there. Because again, we're designed to be with each other.
Well, the man could have married her.
And if he married her, she had to lose the project. Did you know that? She had to get out.
Well,
so again,
then that's why he works.
That's what they were.
That's why he works, and that's why she works.
But it wasn't a lot of opportunity at that time.
They took all of the factories out of the areas. They took all of the factories.
I'm not trying to justify man not working. Let me say that.
No.
But I'm telling you that it was lack of opportunity. See, y'all thinking all this opportunity was here. It wasn't there.
I'm not, but my background is different. I look at it totally different.
But listen, what I'm trying to tell you, so you didn't know, because it's obvious you died for the projects. So what I'm telling you is, if a woman got married to a man, she would have to leave her apartment, which she cannot afford to leave the projects and live and step up to an apartment, even if she works, because she's not making ends meet. You see what I'm saying?
And you gotta think. Even if the man
economically, that's what you're doing. It's all economical. It's like an economical sabotage. It's done by design.
You got to think $4.25, and it probably was less than that.
No, it was less than that. It was like,
it was like
it was not that. I do know.
So you got to think. You got 2 or 3 kids. A man goes out and works, and because it was no daycare, nothing. You couldn't afford that. So a man goes out and work, and he's working 40 hours. He comes home. He has to feed the family. When you can actually get assistance, where you're only paying $50 a month plus food stamps and roof over your head and getting food, and this man. So what? In a lot of men, let me tell you, I know personally that men who have left the home just so that it can be that way, Now he still was.
Well, that's a cop out.
But he used to leave and hide.
Well, that's a cop out. I'm sorry, because like you was just saying, as far as like there weren't really a whole bunch of opportunities and stuff like that. I get that, because
it was a sacrifice.
We're still not close to this. We're still not economically close.
My mother worked at this. My mother been a nurse for over 50 years. Clea, you know, my mama just retired not too long ago.
That's a small percentage of everybody's story.
But listen to what I'm about to say. But what I'm about to say though, because she was the second Black hired at that hospital.
Okay.
The second. When she retired, because because when I look at her and my dad wedding pictures, I used to ask all the time, where the Black people at? The only Black people that was there were like her sisters that were in the wedding or whatever. But when she retired, they gave her her coworkers put this big book together and everything. My mama starting out, she came to Atlanta with 17, 18 years old, didn't have
where's your mother from, if you don't mind me asking?
Alabama. Little town you ain't never heard of. Ain't nobody heard of her unless you from there.
I got people from Alabama. Go ahead.
But she started off making like I want to say like 250. It was real. It was like it blew my mind when I first saw it.
Yeah, but
so it had like all of her pay stubs,
right
up until
that's a lot of money. That was decent money back then.
I mean, for her, because it was just her.
Right.
It was just her. She had my cousin or whatever were roommates or whatever. And then when she met my dad, he was making, I guess, decent money. I guess whatever at the time, because he was at the same job forever too. So, I mean, I get it, but to me, that's a cop out.
What did your father do?
I'm not saying all the cases was like that. But a lot of cases was sacrifice. It was a sacrifice.
What did your father do for a living?
He was an engineer for Georgia Power.
Okay. So again, you come from.
They were the Jefferson. They were the Jefferson.
Yeah.
For the Huxtables, get it right.
For the current families, why are we not a unit now?
Say that again.
So for the current families, back to the question, like the current families, you told us how the unit went back then. So now, why do you feel like families are not a unit?
She said. So the current families, why are they not a unit now?
Yeah, she said why they're not a unit.
Because marriage numbers is down. I mean, marriage numbers is down.
Well,
people not getting married no more.
Well, I think that's why I think that a part of it is
I don't think that's the main reason that they're not married.
It's not the main reason. It's one reason.
Yeah, it's one.
I think the main reason
Go ahead.
Could be the fact that women is making more than men, and some men they feel less masculine about the fact that they have a woman in the house that's making more money than them.
Men out earn more than women. You can look that up.
I'm not negating that. What I'm saying is that's a current problem in some households as to why. Because you now have women who are making more than their male counterpart.
That's one layer to it. I'm not going to disagree with you there, Ms. Hudson.
Yeah. I'm just saying that's one thing. I can go others, but I'm just gonna put that one out there.
Okay, but another one is what about the woman who has her education and she making this
and she all about
making money, but the guy making less money, so she don't look at him as an equal.
Right. That was my other part too.
Let's not say that doesn't exist.
Yes, so I got you on that one too. That was gonna be my other.
Ms. Nelson, talk to me. I can't hear you.
Ms. Nelson. Ms. Nelson.
I don't think necessarily just because a woman makes more than a man that she looks down on him. I don't think that's a fair assumption to say all the time. It depends on maybe sometimes in some cases the man is intimidated. Maybe in some again that's a case by case basis. I know some men are totally okay if they say we have it coming in the same
let's
pot.
say most. Okay. So let's just go with most. I know everything is a case by case basis, but let's say most. Let's start it off with most women. What? Then you go ahead and finish. I'll let you fill in the gap. Let's go there. Most are gonna look for what? Let's be honest. Come on now.
Most women.
Yes. Not all, but most.
Loyalty, respect.
I was about to say, sisters be like,
hold
it's
on,
more character
defining than
economic. Okay. I think it's not always by just purely income. It does have something to do with the character of a man. I mean, well, I can only speak for myself personally. Okay.
I agree.
So let me ask you this:
because if you have no morals, no ethics, and no character, but you bringing in a 6-figure income, you're not really
right.
So let me ask you this: and for most women, this is what I'm asking for most women. Do you think a woman would date a man that's making $20,000 a year?
20,000?
Yes, $20,000 a year.
No, she's not gonna.
No, she's not gonna. Yeah. Why not?
But earlier
because you said it's not about money. You said it's not about money.
Let's start with 40. You like
what?
Because
okay,
you said that was median.
We could say 40. We could do 40. We could do 40.
That's median. Right.
But most women don't want to date a man that's making $40,000 a year. Most women.
What?
I don't.
Most
Why
people.
not? I don't
Why
know
not?
anybody-
What
Right.
kind, who are you dealing with, Cleve?
I was just finna say.
Yeah, that's
But-
not
And
my.
you know, we had that conversation. You know,
We
I
did.
love that
Because
Joe.
y'all said it's
Hold
not
on,
about me.
Cleve, hold on.
Let her go, Cleve. Let her go.
I love that Joe Keita talked about the character, the moral, and the values, because it's not all about the money. Yes, the money is a part of it, just like when we were talking about what's going on with the family being a separate unit, and whatever you said, okay, that's one part of it. And then Shaquita came and said, this is another part of it. And then Daniel came and said, this is another part of it. So the money is just a part of it. You know, when you have a woman of substance, she's looking at the package, the character, the value of the person. That's a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight. And I don't know how you look at the comments, but Erica put a comment down here. Can anybody else see that comment that she made?
There are more women out here for men to choose from also. Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free?
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm not going to say that. Here's the thing.
So let me say this. Okay. When it comes to money, and this is my stance on it. And me and February had this conversation before. You could pull up at McDonald's and see a man in working at McDonald's at the drive. He can say, "Hey, young lady," or "Hey, Miss Lady, what's your name? Would you mind for me to take you out? Can I take you out sometime? Can I get your number?" Most women are gonna look at him and say, "No." Now they don't know what he does, Pat, because I know guys who are retired and work at McDonald's, but because of what he work at, 9 times out of 10, a woman's gonna look at him and say no. And even you said it where you was like, "Oh no, if a man if you look at him thinking he's only making 20 to 30,000, not even that much, probably 15 to 20,000 dollars a year, not knowing any morals or anything about that man before you even turn him down. He could be a pastor, he could be a monk, he could be one of the best men in the world, but it won't even get to that point for you to even know him, because you're looking at where he works at and what he's doing at the time. And a lot of women do that. They're looking at where he's working at, and they're not going to even give him the time of day. They just won't. Most women, when you say, "I got a friend who's single," one of the first things that the woman's gonna ask, "What does he do for a living?" You know why? Because she wants to know asking that is like, how much money does he make? What does he do for a living? If they say, "Hey, he works at Sparkles or Domino's delivering pizza," they'll look at him and say, "Oh no, I'm not dating that man. I'm not dating," not knowing morally the type of man he is, just based off, and you never even had that conversation. You won't make it to that conversation because you're not looking at morals. You're going by the type of job you want. And that comes to income, and that's where it stands.
And I also
have to think about. I'm sorry. You have to think about too. A woman at 40, you want to make sure you just ain't date somebody with some potential. A guy that's 40 years old with potential.
I agree.
I agree.
But you know what I'm saying?
Let her finish, Cleve.
You never got to the conversation.
Right. But then you can ask questions too. So, okay, you work here, you want to take me out. Is this your part-time job? What's your full-time job? You ask questions. If I'm asking you that question, I can see if I can move on, because I don't want to date somebody with just working at McDonald's and I need help, taking care of family. I want to build a family. I need somebody with more. So that's when you ask more questions so you can find out more about that person. But you have to ask questions. You got to be open. I'm not going to say, yeah, you're working at McDonald's. And I'm like, yeah, let's go out for a date. You working at McDonald's, and what else are you doing? Are you in school? Is your part-time with school? So I'm going to ask questions.
Which you should. You should ask questions.
Yeah.
I agree. But a lot of times they don't even get to that point because they looking at where he's at and what he's doing. It doesn't even make it that far. And who's to say this man is not a great man? He may have money. He could be working at McDonald's and got money sitting in the bank. He could be sitting at $250,000. He could have retired from a job. He could retire from the military. He could have went to the military, and in 20 years what? He's 38. He retired from the military, but you wouldn't know because you're going off of what you see and where he's at. You don't even know, you don't know anything about that man.
Yeah, but yeah, nope.
Okay.
I just want to make this clear, because when Cleve and I had this conversation, I said that's not what I would be thinking coming off the bat. But then I'm not everybody, and he looks at things on what he considers a majority viewpoint. I don't know if Cleve, you always have a majority viewpoint. I think this is what I think, that sometimes you just might speak out of your experiences, but you could be right that that's what most women would do. I have told you, and I know that's not what I would do. And it sounds like from what Keisha said, that's not what she wouldn't just charge them, chuck them the deuces. She'll be trying to find out what's really going on here. I'm gonna tell y'all, this somebody that works at Wayfield Foods was trying to holler at me, and I talked to him for a little while, because I ain't prejudiced, okay?
February, you trying to get some free steaks, huh?
Hey, some pigs,
Right. He works in the meat department. He making bank.
He did work in the meat department.
Right.
Hey, you never know.
Fourth of July, baby. 4th of July.
You never know. You never know. But I do think that we're having a lot more from just different podcasts that I watch, and I know Dan, you watch. We're having a lot more of these conversations because they need to be had. Because we're so far as to communicating and trying to hear each other. We basically talking at each other, because I think this is how it's designed for men and women to be totally different. Because if we were the same, we would be bored, especially women. Women would be bored with men. If y'all could figure us out, y'all wouldn't want to deal with us. So I think the design is it's the same.
I know. I mean, go for it.
I think this is the way it's designed for us to try to figure each other out.
Mysterious. It's a mystery.
It is a mystery, but that can be fun. It could be fun and exciting for a lifetime.
That's what I agree.
Yeah,
definitely.
And for the most part, most men, we're trying to figure it out. And I'm talking about the men.
Hold on, Cleve. Hold on. Erica said that's not all. Oh man, it went away. I don't know how to get the.
She said that's not all women. A real woman is concerned with a man's wallet because she has her own. We want a man with substance, respect, and morals. A girl is consumed with a man's wallet and what he can do for her.
No, I know it's not all women, but
I think so. I'm sorry, Clay, let me intervene, please. I think that we're just dealing with a much more mature set of women right now on the panel. But I think if we start going down, I think if we start going down in the 30s, in the 20s, we'll definitely get a different answer.
Yeah, have these conversations with y'all daughters, y'all nieces, and see what they say. Just have.
They're not going to be thinking that they're not on the same. They're not on the same thought process as you guys right now.
Because I'm talking to my nephews, and they're in their 20s and 30s, and the conversation I'm having with them are just men at the gym, just men, and they saying the exact same thing. Like it. Yeah, it's they call me Unc. They call me Unc. It's ugly out here. It's ugly out here.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Atlanta and that surrounding areas has this stereotype too of superficiality, where like so many people are concerned of the material things. So I see that like happening, but I do also see with age, wisdom, and experience comes a different outlook and perspective. So like, I do know people who talk about, they won't talk to people who make less than a certain amount of money, or, who are really particular with certain things. But then you have people who are really clear up front and to the point of, It's nothing shallow about that. I need depth. Intellectual conversation stimulate me. You know, it's more than just economics, because certain things fade. You realize that real quick. If you're looking at a future with somebody, you really want things to last, and you want to be able to build on like a strong foundation. And yeah.
Where you from, Miss Jokita?
I'm from Jackson, Mississippi. That's where I call home. I live. My dad was in the military, but that's where I spent most of my life.
Okay. I used to drive trucks. I delivered up in Jackson, Mississippi. Flowood, Mississippi.
Yeah, it's not too far from Jackson. Yeah.
Flowood, yeah.
That's what's up.
Anything else you got to say, Ms. Hudson? What you got to say, Ms. Hudson?
she back there in the cut looking like
chilling, man. Ms. Hudson sit back chilling.
You gonna start trying to call me out. But no, I had an interesting. I have nieces that are 18 and 20,
right,
and cousins that are 20. You know, in that age. My son will be 21 soon, next month. Right. And you know, you talk about superficial and just looking at their age group. Mm-hmm. The ones that I know that I've seen as they've grown from little kids to their young adult lives now, right. They're not the ones I know aren't superficial. They're not concerned about having the materialistic things as they are about making sure that they build something for themselves.
Right.
So their focus in life is more about what can they do to build for their future, not necessarily what they can buy for their future. Yeah. So I find that refreshing in that concept. Mm-hmm. As far as us age groups today, because I'm leaning towards that 50 age right now. So I've seen a lot. I've seen the changes. I've been in relationships where I made more, they made less, but we work together as a unit. But there's an underlining factor, going back to Keisha's initial question, that I have yet to hear from anyone, which is trust.
Mm. Yeah. I think fall into that moral and ethic under that moral, like
morals.
Yeah. But it falls under there, but it's that very key essential word that breaks up a family unit. To me, is trust.
Erica, you didn't burn that cornbread and them pinto beans, did you?
Oh no, it's good. I put my steak on, making my gravy.
Okay.
Hey.
So ladies, do y'all talk to your kids that's old, like 21, 22, 23, or just older men and I mean younger men and women about marriage? Like how important marriage is and a unit?
I have to say, Cleve, my son he's not interested in marriage right now, but he looks forward to marriage. But my daughter, she doesn't look forward to marriage. She's not really, that ain't on her radar.
Why not? Did she say why?
Well, she's seen the struggle that me and her dad have had, and then she has, she just looked at other relationships that weren't successful.
Right. I can relate to that. That's how I was. I never wanted to get married, and look at me. So
and that's what's going to wind up happening with her daughter. Her daughter, shook from it, but eventually she'll find something. She'll change her mind. It just that initial thought that no, I'm not going to do it because I haven't seen success in it. So that don't necessarily mean her relationship won't be successful.
Yeah.
The reason why I asked, because I think that's a lot of the problems that one of the problems that we have in our community is that the youth is not looking, for a mate. They're not looking for a long-time mate. They're looking for, a good time and, and until they can't have a good time no more. And with our grandparents and our they was that was one of the top things. Like I was talking to my nephew and some young lady just about as far as marriage and what it looks like. Like you can't first of all, you should not be thinking about bringing a child into this world unless you plan on being with that mother. That's one of the important things. And a lot of times I talk to young ladies and they'd rather be a baby mama than a wife. And I'm like, that's not a good thing because that child is gonna need that support. And I think that's where some of the problems come in at, because men are not want to step up to be dads, and mothers is wanting to just be a single parent and that's it, not realizing what that child is going to go through, and that child needs both parents in their life in order for that child to have a chance of even being successful in today's society. So I think.
Do you get to the question of why they think like that? Why they would rather be a single parent than a wife?
Yeah,
that's how they think. That's how they think.
Because of what they mothers that went through, or their fathers went through, or their older brother went through, and they like, nah, I don't want that. And I always ask them, I always tell them, like, listen, their story should not be your story, because if you go back 100 years ago, I mean, this is what we were doing. I mean, this is what we was doing, and our communities was a whole lot stronger, And I'm not saying like what it was like 80% marriage back then, I mean, now you got 80% of Black women that are single, single parents. Like that's sad. It's sad because these kids is growing up and they're not having, they're not having that support that they need in order to be successful. So I really try to talk to these, the youth about what does marriage look like to you? How important it is. To me, I think finding your mate, who you want to live the rest of your life with, is more important than these careers that we push our kids out here to go get. Because once they get that career, you send your daughter off to go get a degree. Then once you get a degree, then she get a career. And then once she get a career, she's 34, 35. I mean, 30, 35, 40. She has no social skills. So she can't even get out here and date. So I don't think we look at how serious family and how serious marriage is. I think it's more important than the career. It just is.
But everybody doesn't find that though, Cleve.
They don't. Because it's more women than men. So you're not. So that's why
it's more women that want to get married. Ain't too many men out here running around. Oh, I want to get married. No. Now one thing about Jasmine and her friends, my oldest daughter.
Statistics show that that's not true.
I need to
that I talk to, they're getting married younger. They want to get married, but it's a totally different group of people too. These people are in the church. So if you just talking about the random Joe Knucklehead running around out here, no, he ain't trying to get married. He trying to get in where he fit in and do what he do or whatever, and that's it. So it's two different, more than two different groups.
Yeah, but let's try to reel it back in. We're kind of losing focus of the subject. Yeah. we kind of getting off subject.
Well, I think all this ties into it because it's basically okay. But one
thing I will say that Cleve said is, I ain't gonna say it, but as far as like back in the day, it was a higher percentage of married couples, because I remember in just my subdivision where I stayed, everybody was married.
You in the you grew up in a good neighborhood. You don't count.
Ain't nothing wrong.
But we're moving on.
I grew up in a working class neighborhood, and everybody was married. Yeah, you did not grow up. You don't understand. You never
But my parents worked hard to get where they
were,
so me and my brothers wouldn't have to do all that. So
I mean,
it wasn't handy.
There's nothing wrong with having a nice life.
It wasn't handy. Please believe.
Yes, it was.
Oh Lord, what I saw a lot of growing up in my parents' generation was common law marriage. Now in my grandparents' generation, there was a lot of marriage, but in my mom's generation, my mom and dad's generation, it was common law.
Yeah.
No.
But that was during the time of the. Go ahead, Dan.
No, so what we're gonna do, as always, we're gonna bring this thing to a close. I think we lost. we lost one. We lost Miss Keisha. So let me thank her. If she look back at the video,
she put a comment in that says, "Thanks for the opportunity to be on the show," but she had to go.
Thank you, Miss Keisha. We appreciate your time, and we know that you're very important to your job, and we know you're a mom, and you're doing your stuff. We definitely want to talk back to you, so please get back with Cleveland to give him your information so we can talk to you about some different subject matters that we can bring to the show. So in closing, as we always do for Miss Jaquita, she don't know. We just like to give like words of thought, and we pass it around, and then we. That's how we normally end the show.
Okay. Now, words of inspiration, edification, exhortation, what type of words we need?
Oh, this woman, she's a rapper. MCC. Jaquita Applebaum. Oh, man. Okay. So, so in closing, since okay, Miss Jaquita, you go first.
Can I go? I want to see how it's done. Because
You're right. I said Shakita. Shakita, go first.
This is my first time, Jaquita, so I don't even I'm a neophyte at this time.
Show them how to do it. Erica, show them how to do it. So she can go ahead and eat her dinner because she's cooking. Go ahead, Miss Erica.
Words of encouragement. I think we just need to continue to uplift each other and support each other, be there for each other, listen more to each other. Communication is key, whether it's in any type of relationship, whether it's marriage, parent, child, whatever. Love each other. Be good to each other.
Okay.
It's February.
I just want to say the struggle is real for men and women.
There you go.
For men and women, and I don't think that you can say the male struggle is harder than the female struggle, or the female struggle is harder than the male struggle. We both struggling, so yeah, let's help each other, and yes, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it and come up with a plan and execute. That's all I got.
I agree. Okay.
Miss Houston. I mean, Miss Hudson.
Let's go.
I just say, even learning how to accept who you are. Learn to love on you before you can love on somebody else. Embrace the things that you understand.
Mm-hmm.
Learn the things that you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And be willing to be mature about how you handle the things that you need in relationships, in families, on your job, as an individual. Collectively, we're strong. Individually, we're weak.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay, so now you got a feel for it, Miss Jaquita.
I like that.
I do. I agree with what everybody said. To just be open-minded and be willing to recognize the blind spots we have as individuals, and be willing to walk alongside our partners or our other brown brothers and sisters, and unify and just come together as one.
Okay, right. That's good. Brother Clee, what you got?
I want to say thank all our guests, for being on. I really enjoyed this, lady, and we're gonna do this again. We're gonna touch on a lot more different topics, because we need y'all input on, getting this community, getting our families and stuff back to where they used to be. Anybody listening, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. And I'm just gonna say, when it comes down to whether black women have it harder than black men, I think, like I said before, like the family as a whole, we have it harder. But I know that we can definitely get through this if we come together and and support each other and push each other and motivate each other, love on each other. I mean, that's what it's going to take in order for us to get back to where our community used to be strong, and society did look at us as a power unit, or a power community, a powerful community, or whatever. So it's going to take for us to come together and support each other. Understand that we all are in this soup pot, with hard times, but we can only get through it, by doing it together as a family.
Okay, yeah, I just want to say again, I'm piggybacking it because everybody pretty much saying the same thing. I mean, without unity, we have nothing, and together, we have everything. So on that note, peace.